thank you all for being here and coming. Excited to be taking the next panel. I am Zoe Fox. I'm the founder and host of the Getting to Grow podcast, where I chat to a lot of FMCG founders kind of as my day job. So I feel quite suited to be here today. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself because you are the best people to do that. So tell us a bit about who you are, what the business is, and what role that your content plays in your growth today.
So hi everyone, I'm Amie. I am not a founder, but I'm head of brand at Lick. So we are a modern paint company disrupting the industry. We launched 6 years ago. I've been with the company 5.5 years, so I've very much been on the growth journey with the company, starting in social and creators and moving more into a broader brand role. I don't know how many of you have heard of us, but we've gone from being a D2C brand, so delivering paint directly to people's doors during lockdown. So we actually launched on the first day of lockdown, which is a very interesting time to start a business and launch a business. The type of business it was made it quite well suited to lockdown because obviously everybody was stuck at home, decorating their homes. So we saw enormous growth from that. And from there, it's kind of gone up and up and up. We're now no longer a D2C brand. We're an omni-channel brand. We're available in B&Q. We have a trade range available in Screwfix. So it's really, really grown from there. My role specifically has always been very rooted in not just brand, but community, social and creators. That's kind of my background, was always in editorial content. So it's something I'm particularly passionate about. And from the beginning, it's really been part of our core value is to build a community-based brand that people can really love, interact with, and to help inspire and give people confidence to decorate their homes. So that's really kind of at the centre of what the brand stands for and at the centre of my role and what I do day to day.
Hi everyone, I'm Sunna, the founder of Tonic Health. We are one of the fastest growing vitamin brands in the UK, but also one of the most followed nutrition channels in the world. Funnily enough, COVID was kind of how it happened because I started a vitamin brand in Boots and Holland & Barrett and the pandemic hit and no one was in stores and no one knew anything about my product. So I needed to find a way to educate people and explain, why we're different and why we're better with max strength nutrition without all the junk that a lot of vitamin brands put in. And that's where the content and kind of Tonic has grown ever since from.
Hi guys, I'm Henry, co-founder of Sult. It's very loud, isn't it? I'm nowhere near as successful as these two, so I feel pretty weird being up here. But we built this brand just over a year ago, and we pretty much documented the ups and downs, all the in-betweens of growing a startup in today's world. We try and focus more on not like selling the product per se, but kind of bringing people on a journey of what it's like to be a founder. And that's kind of how we sort of bring people on a journey. And that's kind of the I guess, positioning that we try to go against within the supplement space, where everyone else seems to sort of focus on the supplements. We do the opposite, which sounds a bit illogical, but that's what we found works.
And who in the audience has heard of these brands? Put your hands up. Okay, yeah, so they're definitely doing their job when it comes to like their social platforms, everything they're doing. And this is why these guys are absolutely best placed to be set up here today. Now, I want to start with you because, as you said, you have the most one of the most followed nutrition brands in the world, which is an insane kind of title to hold. Do you see yourself as a brand that creates content or as a media company that happens to sell a product?
I definitely never wanted to be an influencer, hated putting myself on videos, and don't see myself as a media company because we will never sell out to Alpro because they paid 20 grand for a post and I'm going to say, oh, look, gums are great, buy Alpro. No, because it's not true and it's full of shit. So we always wanted to maintain...
I'm glad you've used Alpro because I work for Coconut Cloud.
Okay, fine, good. But no, it's about authenticity. And for me, it was always a way of how can I help? Like, I wanted to build a vitamin brand first. And it became a way of like, how can I help my customers? How can I help my community? How can I help them on their health journey? Because it's broader than just buy a supplement, take it, and your health is fixed, right? Like that isn't true health. True health is much wider, much broader. So we went hard into content and we tried lots of different things. We did newsletters, we did podcasts, we tried like everything. And the short form kind of videos on TikTok that you see is what popped off through COVID. And then we just lent into it hard for the last like 3-4 years.
Mm. And Henry, you've obviously shared everything about Sult kind of from the day one evolution of the brand to the evolution of the brand and what it is now. How about you? Was it kind of always in your mind to share so much of the behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I wanted to start a brand and have done and failed a few times. And I felt like no one really understood how hard it is to actually start a brand. And I feel like the whole entrepreneurial space is just like wildly glamorized to be like Lamborghinis in Dubai, all that bullshit. When actually it's really late nights, eye bags continuously. Like, it's not fun for a lot of the time. So I was like, well, why don't we just bring people on a journey of the reality of building a brand in today's world? And I guess that's what's resonated weirdly the most with people. I think that during this whole social media whirlwind that's going on of just basically misinformation, it's been quite refreshing to realize that that's not life. And people at their 9-to-5 jobs can resonate with, this is not fun, but it's a means to an end. You know, they need to get salary, they need to get paid. We need to grow the brand because it's our mission to do so. And yes, 95% might not be fun, but the other 5% is absolutely fantastic. And that's what we just try and communicate in the best way we can without, well, yeah, we show probably a little bit too much at times, but I guess that's what we try to do.
No, but I bet when you probably show too much, they're the posts that probably do the best.
Oh, yeah, it's wild. I mean, UK culture is fucking bullshit. Like, people love seeing you fail. Yeah. So it's like, right, so we do something sick. Well done, you got 100 views. Me and Millie have a massive fallout, viral. It's like, right, brilliant. And obviously it's really hard to not like, you know, we look at all these stats and we do like micro-analyze everything, and it's like, well, we're not gonna lie that we're doing stuff that isn't true. And you look at that and you're like, should we just lie about like things going wrong? And we're like, no, that's not what life's about. But yeah, it's crazy how when bad things happen, people love it.
But I think it's like that relatable piece. Like, we don't live in a perfect world, and everyone's day is never a perfect day, and so many things go wrong in everyone's day. And it's like a bit of a thumb stopper when you see something like, I really related to that, as you said, like having a Lamborghini in Dubai. Like, okay, it's a nice picture to look at, but like, it's not my world. So like, I can't really like understand this or this person. And Amie, you said about how community and like that was kind of the one thing you built from the start and was like really important to you. What was the first thing you did as like head of brand at Lick to build community?
Oh, that's a great question. I think a lot of it is around bringing people into the mix. So when we first started, lots of the other paint brands were showcasing either really beautiful interiors, a lot of which most of us will never be able to achieve, unfortunately, but still very nice to look at and put on our Pinterest boards, or were kind of sharing paint kind of content that was quite generic. What we tried to do was really put people at the forefront of it, so actually tell the stories of people in their homes. So we started a YouTube account very early on and did house tours, which obviously now are everywhere, everybody does them. But when we first started, there weren't so much of them about, so we were really telling the stories of people in their homes. We also put Tash, who, while she's not the founder, she's actually married to one of our founders. She's a colour psychologist and colour expert by trade and interior designer. So we started putting her at the forefront of the content because we're finding that no one was really talking about colour and kind of describing it in a way that made people feel like, oh, wow, okay, that's why I would put that pink in my home, or that's why I would choose that shade of green over this other shade of green. So again, it was kind of putting humans behind it as well, which is obviously what you guys have done really well. But I think that human element is what's really important. Of course, people want to go and see like a nice picture of a bedroom or a living room, but ultimately for us as well, once a paint colour is on a wall, it's unbranded. Like, you could be scrolling, you're never going to know that's Lick. So we had to find ways as well to make colour ownable, which was a really important part of our strategy.
Yeah, and I think the kind of big word here is what you guys have all done is you've built trust. So you've never sold. And I recently had the founder of Tenzing on my podcast, and his role was head of marketing at Red Bull. And it's interesting, if you look at Red Bull's like feed on Instagram, there's not one product shot. And I hadn't really thought about that until I looked at it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's all like lifestyle. It's like, you know, people doing backflips, it's people on motorbikes or whatever. And you really like fall in love with that brand and what they're doing. And then when you see a can of Red Bull, you're like, oh, I associate that with everything I've seen online or at socials. And I think that's what you guys have done so well. You know, you, especially I guess with you, how has it been when you were doing the supermarket stuff? Did that like fall into your day to day? Were you just down a supermarket one day and thought, I'm going to just take this advantage and do this kind of review?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to educate and create content, so we were already writing a newsletter and doing stuff like podcasts on Zoom, but it was all a bit shit. None of it went viral. And then we were like, okay, well, how can I actually explain things? Well, let's just take it into the real world and go in the supermarket and talk about this product of how bad it actually is. Like, it started with crazy shit in the supermarket during COVID, where like all of a sudden Vita Coco is promoting that it's good for immunity, high in vitamin C. But you'd have to drink so much coconut water that you would internally drown before you got an effective dose for your immune system. And that was the kind of shit that was pissing me off. And I was like, it's bullshit. Like, we need to tell people what's really going on. And so that's the kind of first nugget of like, oh no, I need to tell people what's going on in the supermarket. We made some videos. My first video was terrible, but then you just get better at it over time. Huh? Thank you.
So good.
Well, you've got the Sult tattoo, I've noticed, which is commitment that your business can't fail.
I know, well, we'll see.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think like your videos are. I mean, we all eat, right? Like, that's something we're all going to do forever. Like, regardless of cost of living and all this stuff, like, we still need to go into the supermarket and buy our food. So, again, you haven't gone down like a really specific niche either. You've been you've been available to everyone.
And I've had the challenges from my investors and my board. What's the click-through rate from a reel? Why aren't you talking about Tonic more? Like, what's going on? You know, are you wasting your time? And I'm like, guys, you don't get it. If I just put, hey, buy this product, look how good it is, no one cares. Like, people are on social to be entertained or educated, and that's it, really. And we've just fallen into the education side, and we do that really well. And we're always trying to look for new ways to share new knowledge with people. But it's just that. And then if you build that trust, like you say, through education, then, hey, look, my vitamins are there. You can see them. If you want to buy them, great. If you don't worry about it. It's all good.
And on the content piece, because, you know, I'm sure lots of us obviously have our own social medias and maybe have a business social media account that they're working on. It's really hard to grow socials, right? You know, like, you always want that, you know, people chase the virality of a post and stuff, but, you know, does that necessarily lead to a sale just because it's had an eyeball? No, not always, right? So was there a moment where you kind of like maybe nearly gave up socials because you were just like, oh, this just isn't working? And then what was like the tipping point for you in order for your content to grow?
I think
Question to all of you guys.
I think I got quite lucky because I think it was when the Instagram transition started to happen from picture to video. Like, brands were really good at making nice pictures on Instagram feed, and that was it. And then all of a sudden TikTok came along and it was all video, and no one knew how the hell to edit a video or make a video and really put a content together. And we stumbled upon a way that, in a way, was a bit lucky of like making videos, but making them at scale. They're not high production. They're really quick to edit. Me and Daisy, my content manager who's in the audience, you know, we'll film 60 videos in a day, and then my content's done for the month and I can focus on running the business. Which is really important to me to make it super fast and efficient. So we got lucky with that, and then we saw early success, did 250,000 videos on a post me talking about Pinot Noir wine, was I think the first one. And so then we just did more and more. And yeah, and we never gave up because we always believed in the fact that if you're getting eyeballs, you know, you will have trickle-down economics. It's not instant. And it's not like direct, you can't track it. But if you have that belief that, you know, a marketing funnel works, awareness at the top, and you fill it with a ton of awareness, it's going to trickle down to your brand performance in the end. And for us, it really has been a massive, massive growth driver over the last few years.
And how about you, Henry, at Sult?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question was around like socials, and, you know, it's really hard to grow your socials. And was there a tipping point where, I guess it's a slightly different question for you because obviously you have Millie, and Millie has 650 circa 1,000 followers. So how has her following translated into Sult? And do you think you actually had to be quite special about what you were doing because you couldn't piggyback off her as much as you, like, obviously there has been trickle through, but your content has been, you know, you're picked up on my LinkedIn feed like every day. People are like, love Salt's marketing strategy. Like, that's not just because Millie had a following. Like, that's because you guys were clever about what you did. So how have you like grown your socials, and how has it been? And was there a point where you thought from like the early stages where this isn't maybe where I want it to be?
Yeah, I mean, before starting, I had the idea like 3 years ago while I was working at my old brand, which I'm sure they'll hate to know. But you were actually on my Miro board. I had this Miro board that's ginormous, like absolutely ginormous, of all like how to go about building this brand. And it was like, you know, the different pillars of like, you know, education, whether that be, how you do content, or was it entertainment? And I just went down the entertainment route because I thought, well, A, you were already doing it. I was like, I'm not going to copy you. And B, I've not really seen a brand do what we've done. I'm not by any means saying that we're the first brand to build in public, but I do truly believe we've done it in a completely unique way. And I think, mirroring what you were saying there, there's no way in how any piece of content is not going to help the business in some matter. So whether you want to give up or not, you'd be completely foolish in this day and age to do so. Whether you get 100 views, that's 100 more people than you would have got not posting a video. Same across like every channel. I always talk about LinkedIn. I'm a real LinkedIn badger, by the way. And everyone's like, why do you care so much about LinkedIn? It's like, well, I looked at the metrics and you get 100,000 impressions, whatever, a day or whatever. And it's like, there's 100% correlation of people who will, at one matter of time, potentially buy a product because of that, whether you like it or not. And yes, it is tiring. It's so boring at times. But I just think we are at a stage in this sort of weird time of our lives. 10 years ago, it was Bitcoin. Now it's social media. And if you don't do it, I'm sorry, but you're just a moron, like you are. You have to do it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I'd just add one thing to that, because one of the things we always talked about, and it's like when you see 10,000 views, if we did 10,000 views on a post now, Daisy would be so upset because it's like terrible for our content. But I always said to her throughout the journey, I was like, look, that's 10,000 people. That's like half a football stadium. It's insane numbers. Like even if you get 2,000 views, that's a ton of people, right? Like you come here, you do this event, there's 100 people in the room or whatever, it's 100 people. But you can get 1,000 on social. And if you just put the digital metrics into perspective, and then you just see them continually grow, even if it's a little bit, even if it's gradual, even if it's not viral, you keep going and it does build. And we all make mistakes, right? I'm kicking myself. You're going 100,000 views on LinkedIn. I still forget to post on LinkedIn every day. And I'm like, fuck, I'm missing an opportunity. So, we're all doing it at different times, learning in different ways, but, just it is so valuable.
I was just going to say, actually, I think two things from us. I think number one was when we first started on social, we were kind of finding our feet a bit more and who we were as a brand. We were chasing lots of trends and we would exhaust ourselves every day being like, what's trending today? What do we need to do to follow the trends? Like, we don't do that anymore. Like, it's very rarely now will we jump on a trend that's trending. So I think we kind of forgot about that and then kind of like, okay, let's stay true to ourselves. If it feels like we fit, we fit. If it doesn't, let's not try and force it. And actually, we're now kind of anti-trend because we try and kind of build our own conversation. So I would say for social teams especially, for us taking the pressure off trying to be part of trends all the time really kind of set us free. And then secondly, we kind of, from a business point of view, we opened up how we thought about ourselves. So instead of thinking about ourselves as a paint brand, which kind of puts you in a bit of a box, we're like, okay, we actually we do sell paint, but we don't sell paint, we sell colour. So actually when we start talking about colour, that opens you up to a lot more conversation. It means that we can talk about things like the Met Gala, or we can do collaborations with Hunter, because actually we're owning colour, we're not owning paint. So I think opening up your mindset to kind of the business and the industry you're in and giving yourselves permission more than anything to talk about things and to open up kind of the conversations you're having, I think for us has been really, really helpful and kind of opened up how we think about content, the content we produce, who we work with, all of those things.
So smart.
And thinking about like platforms that you guys show up on, because I think this is a really big one. Like I personally find that LinkedIn is way more powerful for me than it is for some other like platforms of mine. And how I show up on all these different platforms can be quite different. They potentially all need like a different strategy, and it's all like absolutely exhausting, right? You're like, oh my gosh, like if I post here today and then I post there, but like who's my audience there? Okay, let's tailor that. Blah, blah, blah. When you're like early on and you're starting out, what's kind of like a bit of advice for maybe the audience? It's like, I don't know which platform to start on, and I don't know what content to post where. Who wants to take that one?
Go.
Well, I think it's kind of twofold. So in the beginning, when you're nowhere and you're at zero, I would almost do a bit of a spray and pray, which is test some content on LinkedIn, test on YouTube, test on Instagram, test on TikTok, see where works for you and what you're putting out there, because it's different on different platforms. Like we went viral first on TikTok. It wasn't probably until about a year later that our Instagram started taking off. So we went deep on TikTok first, and then when Instagram took off, we went deep there. I haven't really done YouTube or LinkedIn. And so you have to find what works for you. And then once you've found that nugget of what works, I would say just focus and go really deep on that channel to build it, because it is exhausting. If you try and do everything at once, you'll never do it. So go deep, and then only now, like 3-4 years later, I'm going, okay, I need to do YouTube and LinkedIn because there's other people there that might value our content that aren't on Instagram.
Yeah, I actually say this a lot to people who are like wanting to start content itself. You know, I'm still crap at it. I find it really hard to do.
You're not crap at it. Come
No,
on.
no, but as in it takes me about 10 minutes to warm up because I hate being on camera. And the hardest thing is 0 to 1, starting in the first place. So I think if you don't look at it per channel, look at it as where are you actually just going to show up and do it. So I would start on LinkedIn. Write, because you're writing and it's easy and you don't have to put a face to it, you know, to an extent. And you can post it and that's fine. Then you can work out, okay, that is what people are interested in. Then you, right, let's pick your phone up, try and do a video. You know, it still takes me God knows how long to post a video because I'm there like, fuck, I look like a moron, I'm chatting shit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I know I'm not, because the only thing I have is I'm always true to myself in everything I do, whether that's good or bad. But I always think that, you know, just do what you can do. And once you do that, quadruple down on it. I wouldn't do a shotgun approach. I would disagree slightly on that because I've tried it and I keep failing it. I just think, you know, finding one thing and just absolutely hammering it over and over and over again. Because you know, even we are trying YouTube and we're so bad at YouTube. So bad. We're getting like 100 views on it. And that's quite soul destroying, how long it takes. But we've got to keep going. And I hope, you know, we will get better, but it will take a year, 2, 3 years. I don't know. Just like we were crap at LinkedIn, and now, you know, I continually tell the team that, you know, if you're posting more than our competitors are posting. That's all that matters, really. So that's my view.
I was going to say, like, follow where your audience is. Like, do audience research if you can, and generally, like, immerse yourself in the industry that you're in. Like, whether we have someone on the team that's interested in interiors or not, they will go and find, like, where people that are interested in interiors are. So, yes, you can be on the right platforms, but it also gives you opportunity to try new platforms as well. Like, something we're currently, I mean, we're maybe a bit late to the party on this one, but currently we're trying to start up like a Substack so we can do more like blog editorial stuff. Like, none of our competitors are on there yet, but we know that's where our audience are and that's where they're becoming. And then our co-founder always has a saying, which I think is quite generic, but I always try and keep it in mind, which is progress over perfection. Like, we'll quite often sit there and be like, oh, but, you know, Glossier posted this really nice piece of content and we'd love to do stuff like that. It's like, well, we're not Glossier. We don't have Glossier budget and we don't have the team the size of Glossier, and they do their own thing and they do it really well. So trying to just like keep making little moves. I think your point to the YouTube channel is one of those things that you have to kind of just suck up the bad days where you are getting 100 views, just keep trying it, progress over perfection. And I think that's really helped us kind of view things productively rather than beating ourselves up because it's not as good. Like, if we look back on our feed now, I would be absolutely mortified to look back at what we posted 4 years ago, even 2 years ago. I'd be like, oh God, that's so awful. But it's all progress to where we are now, which is important.
Absolutely. And let's talk about like the hook, because I think this is something that is, everyone speaks about it. They're like, you know, got to get someone in the first 2 seconds, got to stop the thumb, all that stuff. And what is happening in like your first, Henry, let's go with you first. What's happening in your first 3 seconds of your content, of each piece of content that you put out?
So there's 3 things. So it's a visual hook, a sound hook, and then a text hook. That's what we always focus on. And we basically reiterate that over and over again until we like the one we've seen first. So if anyone's seen our content, it's usually, let's say the business pillar we do, is me spinning Millie on a chair, because that's a visual hook, because it's kind of a pattern interrupt. If you're scrolling, you're like, what are these 2 guys doing? So I'm bam, twist around, you know, episode 4 of Building Sult, whatever. On the screen, it will be like episode or like founders POV of Building Salt, and it's bright yellow. So that's like a text hook, and then a sound hook. So it will be whether it be the music that's aligned with the beat, or it's, you know, us clapping or something like that. So visual, sound, and text, they're the 3 things that we focus on.
Never been that scientific about it, but definitely that like the first line of what I'm saying makes a big difference. In the beginning, I was like, here's a health hack for you. And I repeated that 60 times on 60 videos. And it kind of worked for a bit. But then obviously video got busier and it was kind of like, wait, I don't want to just see this guy say, hey guys, every time, like it's boring. So you do need to think about what are those first 3 seconds. And I rarely fuck up on filming videos anymore. But when we do, it's the hook, and we're like, no, do that again because the hook was boring. And you always try and like move a little bit in the first few seconds to make it more impactful. We'll try different things like putting the phone on the shelf, different angle, throwing a cucumber in the air, whatever it is.
I would say, to your point earlier, actually, about negativity. Like, people love negativity. Like, we've tried different hooks. I mean, actually, it's something we're trying to get better at with our Tash content, is actually trying to be better at hooks. So it's a practice. It's a practice. But one thing we noticed quite early on was, like, negative hooks perform so much better than positive hooks. If we film one video of Tash saying, these are the colours you should paint your living room in, no, nothing. If we do a video of her and she's like, these are the 3 things you're doing wrong in your living room, everybody's like, oh my God, I need to watch this video, because everybody wants to watch it and be like, am I the problem? Like, am I doing this wrong? So yeah, unfortunately, negativity does do well, but put a positive spin on it, negativity into positivity, yeah.
Yeah, because we find the same. It's always like, I would never eat these 3 things in M&S. And then everyone's like, oh my God, what is it? And I need to know. But the key is always end on the positivity, because when we've done videos where we're like, this is shit, don't eat it, and people are like, what's the solution?
Yeah.
So they need the positive outcome, but a bit of negativity at the start to catch attention is good.
Yeah. And in terms of like the editing side of everything and like the kind of organic content that you guys are doing, you know, initially as everybody starts out, videos are edited, as you said, like super quickly, like 5 minutes done. And sometimes the ones that literally you don't even think about, you post and then go have dinner, you come back and you're like, oh my God, that's blown up. Versus the one that you spent like 4 hours editing has like 1 view and you're like, what? That's so soul-destroying. When we look at like your posts now, all of you guys, like how long are you spending on editing a reel, for example?
I think you've got the longest edit, personally, from what I've watched. But we'll see.
Again, it depends on what the pillar is. So the
Okay.
business pillars take us absolutely ages. We did one on Amazon a few days ago. I think that took us 5 hours to make. So horrific. But the actual editing, I mean, to be honest, the editing is probably like half an hour. Just lock in piano music, CapCut. Yeah, rinse it a new one. But I think, yeah. So the other ones, I mean, as you're saying there, the trend ones, I mean, oh my God, you put no effort in and they're the ones that do the best. But no, I do agree that the more you, I think also, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but the overly edited things don't perform as well anymore. People like seeing quite shit content, which is quite soul destroying. I'm just taking hours doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you?
Well, they want it real, right? So the more we make it gimmicky with B-roll footage from like stock websites or whatever, the more they're like, oh, fuck, this is just overly produced and not real anymore. So they disengage. And yeah, basically, I don't know how long it takes to edit our videos because I don't edit them, but I have a team of editors actually out in the Philippines, which is a really good tip. If anyone wants it, hire video editors in the Philippines. They're super cheap and really good at doing edits. And that we just film it and then send it to them and they edit it. But we have a format and they just rinse, repeat, and we try and keep the editing time as low as possible, the cost as low as possible, so that we can do volume and quality of education rather than just spending 5 hours on a video. Like, I couldn't do it.
We're the same. I think our on-the-fly content, we're CapCut girlies all day. We're in CapCut producing content. But yeah, a few minutes. But I think one thing I'm noticing actually is, like, especially on social, I mean, maybe Instagram specifically actually, it's either like 2 ends of the spectrum. It's either that real on-the-fly, like CapCut edited, like videos that you guys do, or it's the really produced stuff, like the beautiful, like cinematographic, is that a word? Cinematic, not cinematographic, cinematic content, like Fern does so well. Like when you actually build like a really nice cinematic experience, I think it has to be the 2 extremes. I think this middle ground where it's kind of like overly produced lo-fi content, I think that's where that kind of failure point is, or that's what I'm seeing at least from like the social watching, the listening that we do and what we've tried and tested in-house as well.
I think every piece of content, like, needs to serve the content. Like, going back to cinematic, we try and do like every 2 or 3 months, we do like a cinematic video. And that's the sort of game there is no ROI. This is brand building. I know that you know, Humantra can't do this. I know that if they do it, it won't be as good as we do it, because that's what we're good at. They're good at so many things better than, I mean, we're terrible at things that they're amazing at, but that is how we could differentiate in this day and age. It's right, so that is cinematic for that reason, this is that for that reason, and this is a quick trend for super top of the funnel, flash of the pan content, you see what I mean? So I think if you look at it like that, rather than time spent on content, that's probably a more meaningful way to do it, that's what I think.
And what's been your most overrated piece of advice about content that you've ever heard?
God, I don't know.
That's a hard one.
That's really hard.
Get you thinking.
I think, actually, I agree with you there. I think volume always wins. Like, you know, people say that, you know, post one perfect video, you know, a month, and that's better than posting 100 a week. It's like, no, it's not. Post 100 a week, like 100%. Volume always wins, especially in this day and age. You've got to basically be a slave to the algorithm, and they want you to post more and more and more. And yeah, I just think volume is the winner there.
I think you're totally right. And honestly, like the number of social media managers that I've spoken to in the past, they're like, no, we're only going to do 3 posts a week because we want the quality to be good and we don't need to post every day. And I'm like, you're fundamentally wrong. We're posting 3 times a day, and we only go down to 2 if we're like running out of content and I haven't got time to go do a filming day, because volume does win. The algorithm doesn't punish you if you post more. You could post 10 times a day if you wanted to, if you've got a way to produce that much content. So the more you do, the faster you get. And like you said, you know, you're posting on LinkedIn all the time and your competitors aren't. I know no other vitamin brand is posting 3 times a day. So I know I'm going to grow awareness quicker than they are.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest one, isn't it? The volume of content, and I think it takes it back to that kind of lo-fi, like progress over perfection. Don't overthink it. Just do it on the fly. For us, it's been like posting times. We used to be like absolutely held tight by posting times. Like, only post at 6 p.m. It has to be 6 p.m. or it has to be 5:59 p.m. I think just like not being so strict with yourself, like not taking. We used to look at data and be like, best posting times. Okay, let's reel into that. It didn't do anything whatsoever. So I think algorithms to a point, but then we try stuff, it fails. Sometimes it says we're meant to be doing something for the algorithm, we do it lots and it just doesn't work. So I would say, like, again, stay true to yourself and kind of what your brand pillars are and what works for you as a brand, rather than trying to follow a tick sheet of like, okay, I need to post at this time every day because that's what everybody's saying is the best time to post. I need to do like 3 reels, 2 carousels because that's what the head of Instagram has said that I need to do each week. Like, stay true to yourself and kind of figure out a content plan that works for you internally and not for your competitors, not for another brand that you follow that did things really well 2 years ago that you really like still. Like, I think figure it out and kind of run your own calendar and your own content plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like trust, like authenticity are like 2 really key things, and then like volume is what I'd probably take from like this conversation. Last question before I move on to like a little bit of a quick fire round, and then it's over to you guys for some questions to have a think about what you might want to be asking these guys. But thinking about like team, and you know, when I see you guys on Instagram, obviously I don't actually see a huge amount of your team behind the scenes, but I obviously know your team. And again, I know obviously Tash and stuff like that, but I don't, I guess, know the kind of massive team behind you guys. When you're turning over, you know, like you've grown and you're a turnover that, like, you know, you need to have a team basically to help you. How do you know when it's time to like bring in the team to help grow it? Because as you said, like being the face of the brand and like you're the founder, like without you, there is kind of no brand. Like if you left Sult and if you left Tonic, you wouldn't get the views. But then at the same time, you need a team. But you're probably pulled from pillar to post internally. I need to be here, I need to be here. But ultimately, you need to be on camera probably a lot, and that's key. So when did you guys know it was the right time to bring in the team to help grow your socials?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting question because I'd say my social team is in this room. It's me and Daisy over there. That's it, like, really. And we have an editor in the Philippines who edits the content. But beyond that, you don't need much. You don't need a whole...
That's really interesting because I think like, probably people in the audience think there's probably way more and like that it's way bigger than that.
Well, and listen, we tested it all, right? So when I started, it was me and my social media manager at the time, and we went into supermarket, film videos. We started editing ourselves, but then was like, this is a time drain. So we got an editor quite quickly, but we tested going super scripted in a traditional marketing sense and going, right, we need to research every post, we need to have it all scripted out, we need to really work out what's going to go viral. And we spent weeks on end in the business coming up with this whole calendar. I'd go in the supermarket and this product was out of stock. And it was like a complete waste of time.
Oh, no.
And we would never know what was going to be there. We'd never actually be able to predict what was going to go viral. So we just got to a point very quickly where we were like creating this whole system and process and structure that just didn't deliver results, wasted a load of time, and we just got rid of it very quickly within a few months. And we were like, no, beat points. So we do research, we find out like new things and stuff we want to talk about, and then we just go and we're out and we're filming and it's organic and it's real and we're doing it live, and then it's just, yeah, me, Daisy, and a video editor, and that's it. No other process, no other senior involvement, like just get it done. And it comes back to the perfection point of like, no one really cares. Like, I've done videos where people have gone, you've said it wrong and blah, 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 and nutritionists, dietitians will take me down, and James Smith will take me down and do all these videos saying that he's full of shit. And I'm like, great, I don't care. It's all attention, right? And at the end of the day, I believe I'm doing something that's helping people. And fundamentally, a lot of brands get caught up in that perfection. Oh my God, what if they say this? Or, oh my God, what if it isn't perfect? Or, oh my God, what if I look stupid? No one cares, dude. Like, no one's looking at you going, you look stupid. They don't. No, but, do you know, like, just get rid of that, like, ego, that caring, and just put content out there and you'll reap the rewards.
Right, who does operations in this room? Put your hand up. Operations. Who does marketing? Who does finance? Don't know what the other one is. Okay, so my view is if you're posting content about either of those pillars from the team doing so, someone is going to find that interesting. So I always talk about like the business side in Sult because I kind of just do all of that stuff. So let's say we're talking about Amazon. Someone in this room is going to find Amazon interesting, so we talk about Amazon. Someone in the room is going to find operations interesting, so we talk about operations. Obviously, as we grow, we're not big enough yet, but someone will lead those roles, and I hope that they will lead the content in those roles too. Because no matter who you are in the room, that might be utterly useless for you, or it could be, fuck, this is really interesting. And in this day and age, content is the thing that beats anything else. It's attention, right? So I think that's my view. If you have a team big enough, get them on camera, talk about what you're doing. If you can, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, EGC is huge, isn't it now? Like employee-generated content, like it's all over. Like Perfect Head do obviously a really good example of this, and I see a lot of their team on LinkedIn doing this and this, and it's like, yeah, they're basically paying them already, so like basically make them brand ambassadors and shout about it as well.
Yeah. I would say actually we're probably a bit more of a mix because we do obviously Tash content, but then we do a lot of other social content, so it's less EGC. Like Tash is our EGC at the moment. We do expand it from time to time with more of our studio team. I think where she's got such a profile and reputation, it can be quite hard to move away from that person. Once you've got that person in your team, it's quite hard to put other people in front of the camera and it not do so well, or people don't really understand kind of like their authority in that. When you've got someone who's like an interior designer and a colour psychologist talking about colour, it's like, why would someone want to hear me, head of brand, talk about colour, even if I know them just as well, if you know what I mean? So I think it's kind of figuring that out. I don't know the answer to that yet, so if I ever find it, I'll let you know. But yeah, we're still trying to figure that out. But I think, like say, maybe not putting all of our eggs in one basket, like trying to show more of the team. We've tried to do more EGC style stuff, and honestly, it's sucked. So yeah, that's probably one we're still trying to figure out actually, but definitely trying to expand it. I mean, some brands do a really, really good job of it. You guys are testament to that, and what you do is incredible. So definitely some lessons learned from a Lick point of view from today and you guys. But yeah.
Okay, so it's very warm in here. So I'm going to do like one question to each of you and then Q&A for the audience. So, Amie, the biggest waste of time on social media is?
Hashtags.
Oh my God, so fair. I literally forgot about those for a bit. I was like, I actually forgot you need to hashtag sometimes.
Everybody did. That's why they're a waste of time.
Yeah. Sunna, the metric I care most about is?
Views.
And Henry, the content trend I wish would disappear is?
Oh, that's the hardest one.
Yeah, it was, sorry. I didn't actually mean to give you the hardest
I'm not gonna lie,
one.
I hate trends. As you can probably see, if you watch any of my content, I look miserable as fuck for a reason. Because because I hate trends.
I actually don't think you look miserable.
That's because I'm like, like, you know, I don't like trends.
Okay, the best content advice I've ever received is?
I think, honestly, just listen. I think the stuff that you guys were saying was incredible. So, yeah, it's clearly working, isn't it? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you. Don't listen to all the Instagram gurus out there. They haven't got businesses that don't.
Also,
So.
It's genuinely exhausting. Like, there's so much noise on Instagram, what you should and shouldn't be doing, that sometimes I just want to put my phone in the sink. I'm like, I can't physically watch another reel on like...
I generally unfollow all the
Yeah,
gurus.
well, you have to listen in your Explore and you can't unfollow that page, but anyway. But anyway, thank you so much. Big round of applause for the panellists. Okay, some questions. Who would like to go first?
Hi guys, thanks for the talk. Question, when it comes to content, how much of what you're developing is, like how much goes into the strategy and the scripting and actually breaking down the videos, and how much is just like, you know what, I want to talk about this and I'm sitting in front of my camera and I'm riffing about it. And which one do you think works best?
Okay. I don't mind. For me, 100% riffing. Like, give me the subject and the hook and I'll just go. And I'll make a 60-second video or a 15-minute YouTube. And, you know, that's, I guess, because I've built up a bit of expertise in nutrition, so I can talk about it organically. It's a lot harder to do that if you haven't got that. But 100%, I've seen it time and time again where we've had, like, actors come in to do ads, for us, an example, and they're trying to follow a script. And, oh, my God, it's painful. Like, they're so bad, and they get the words wrong all the time, and they're like, oh, sorry, can we do it again? And you have to do a 60-second clip 7 times to get it right. But I actually don't care what the word is, because the viewer doesn't really know what the script was. So why are we wasting all this time with scripts? Just make a beat point that you've got to say this, and talk about this subject, and off you go. Make it simple.
Completely agree. I think just have like I bullet point them. So hit this, what is the aim of the topic? Right, sweet. No matter how you say that, it doesn't really matter. Perfect example. Like, you can go a million different ways. As long as you get to that point relatively quickly, that's fine. And then just tick them off as you go. If you look at videos that are scripted, I mean, they're dreadful because you can literally see them reading off a piece of paper. It's like, yeah, you look a robot, and that's the last thing you want, right? So, yeah, I think just tick the subject per video and then just go from there.
I'd say for us, we don't script anything at all anymore. Tash won't mind me sharing this, but she's severely dyslexic. So we tried to do a lot of scripting at the beginning and it was just not helpful. She ended up very stressed out. We ended up getting no content. So now actually we maybe just have like a theme of something we want to talk about, and it could be anything like bedroom colours, like it's not even that specific. And we just go for it and edit it from there. We're just like, Tash, you just talk. We'll sort it out in the editing, and that's how it flows best for us when it's not so restricting. I think that really works, and I've seen it work with other people who aren't dyslexic but also just find it really helpful just to be able to free flow.
That's actually how Millie does her content. She's like, never pause it. Like, just put it up there and just riff away. And then, you know, I keep going, starting again. Mentally, that puts you in the wrong frame of mind. If you just keep talking, waffling away, then it will, you know, it can be like a 4-minute long, 5-minute long video, and then you cut it down to like 20, 30 seconds. So just let yourself do the talking, and it just looks so much better.
Even for the more structural one, like the Amazon one that you were talking about.
Oh no, that was so scripted. It was me going, shit, do it again, do it again. No, that one is like aggressively overly scripted, because I'm so dyslexic, and I can't do numbers, anything like that. So I essentially had to just read it, and go again, and then act like I didn't know what I was talking about, which is quite hard.
Who else has a question?
Hey guys, I'm Ariana. I'm from Hair Gym. We recently launched the first hair mask design for the gym, and Sult actually inspired us to build in public, and it was the best decision ever, so thanks guys, slay. What I wanted to ask was, how are you approaching content differently on Meta, and is there like content pillars that are converting like organically that you're like doing on Meta that you're not seeing conversions from, or is there any like surprises in content on Meta, and how are you like approaching the two differently, I guess?
Honestly, like, I'm not the right person to ask. We're not doing well on Meta. Like, we haven't cracked
really?
it. No, as in like our organic is annoyingly converting far better than everything else. So yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving that advice. I think let you guys do
Okay,
it.
cool.
I think it's a really hard thing because it's totally different, and I wouldn't even say we've cracked Meta at all. But what I would say is the eyeball is the same, right? Like it's just on your feed. It's all coming up the same way through Explore and through Reels. So why would it be any different? Like the more we can do to make our ad content organic and feel authentic, the better it's going to do than just me going, okay, now guys, you've got to buy a tonic. And it doesn't work because then you're going to pay an incredibly high CAC because no one wants to watch it. So 100%, I would say, and we're not doing this well, I think we need to work on it still, is like, just make it more authentic, make it more organic. It's the same person watching it. So everything you've learned about how to do organic social, it's the same for ads.
I'd say we actually built a funnel and we funnel it out in a few different ways. So we have our content pillars, and then imagine kind of like a row of 3. We then have like brand content, edited UGC, lo-fi brand content, and then like lo-fi content, which to be honest is whitelisted creator content. And we kind of do that throughout our ads. So for brand awareness, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, we'll do it that way so we can kind of structure it, and then you kind of, if you think of it visually, we can then drag and drop content into those spaces. I mean, performing will always be the stuff that feels like native, organic content, but where there is a requirement for brand content for collaborations or product launches and things like that, we know on the scale and we can kind of budget accordingly. So X percent of the budget is going into whitelisting versus 10% that goes into top funnel brand content because it doesn't perform as well. But we know from a brand awareness point of view, we need to do that. So that's kind of how we structure it, if that helps.
Intimacy. So we live, it's a nice word. We live sell from London into China. And we mostly cosmetics and wellness goods. And we've seen a trend change this year that's shot up our sales to about 10 million this year through TikTok China, so live selling from London. And it's intimacy. So I'll give you an example. Last week, one of our live sellers in London, she's live selling on an 8-hour live stream. And suddenly she stopped and she started to cry. And then she told the entire audience that she's going to get divorced from her husband. Now, for the next 2 hours, the entire audience is advising her on what she should do. Meanwhile, the sales doubled. So we're normally on average about £4,500 an hour. It hit 9 for the next 3 hours as she was talking about her divorce. People came back the following day to see if she'd taken their advice, and she obviously went through it. And this week she's live selling from Greece because her husband took her there as a patch-up. And she's still live selling these cosmetics. My question to you is, I don't know whether this was orchestrated or whether it was real. It was, I'm just terrified while I'm watching it because I represent brands and I have to report to the CEO who typically fires me one day and then brings me back the next day. But my question to you is, how far can you go with intimacy when you're doing your posts? Should you get really deep and draw more people in, or should you be sort of more surface level?
Good luck.
Oh, I was just going to say, actually, I would say that maybe not that far, but Tash is quite an open book. So when we film content with her, she often goes off on tangents and starts talking about her personal life and like, oh, my husband said this to me, or like, oh, he wouldn't let me decorate my bedroom pink, so I'll just say, oh, fuck him, I'm going to do it anyway, kind of thing. And actually it does perform well. I do think a level of intimacy with your audience, like showing that vulnerability and showing that kind of personal experience is really, really valuable. I think as a head of brand, stories like that make me slightly nervous, and I don't know if we'd go that far. I mean, so make you a bit nervous as well, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we'd go that far, but I do think a level of intimacy is good. I think especially on things like TikToks and live streams, especially, like everybody wants to see FaceTime style content on TikTok. Like that's what performs well. People want to see you with no makeup on, just got the shower, hair in a messy bun, going, right guys, like I've got to do this today, or I'm going here today. And like people really engage with that unpolished, but also like to the point where it's, yeah, slightly intrusive. I think if you're edging on slightly intrusive, you're probably doing it right. If it feels too uncomfortable and your brand team start to hate you, I'd say probably step it back a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I would just say you can be as intimate as you want. Like, the more the better. Like, sorry, brand team, because yeah, I know there's levels, but at the end of the day, it's real. And that's what people like. And I hate TikTok Shop because it's all so fake. And oh, now I've got a 10-minute flash sale. It's the best flash sale ever. It's the best, cheapest price. Let's go. And it's bullshit because I'm going to do another one in 5 minutes. So, like, be real, 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree. I do think that there's an ethical / moral discussion as well. Like, don't manufacture it, because I think
Yeah, you can't.
there's I'm not going to name drop, but I'm sure everyone in this room has seen a couple people who just clearly do it for clickbait.
Name drop, come on.
No, not here today. I'm pissing off people off. But yeah, I just think just be careful with how you go about doing that, because I think that story, you know, I hope it is. She's fine, but like, don't show her those numbers and be like, all right, sweet, you know, let your husband hit you next time. Don't, like, do you know what I mean? Just don't step on that moral compass.
God, hope we don't go there.
Yeah, although it might start, I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll be here with a nice Rolex next week.
Do we have time for one more question, or are we wrapping up? One more.
Assuming this is something you guys have dealt with, how have you dealt with imposter syndrome? Just getting into these types of situations where you can't necessarily prepare for.
My voice is like, I'm shitting myself here. I hate being on set. I hate talking in public. I'm terrible at it. You know, when these guys invited me, I was like, what, next to these guys? What? I should not be here. And then obviously seeing my face there next to some of the biggest faces in the UK, I'm like, what on earth am I doing sat here? So
You make good content, mate. You should be good.
well, yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I just don't feel like I belong here or whatever will do. Not that I've remotely made it, but I think that's just something that I don't think you'd ever get over. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but that's my view.
I mean, I didn't ever want to be on video in the beginning. And I was like, oh my God, but what if I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, how can I do this? What if someone calls me out? And it was years of like, practice makes perfect. And now I wouldn't say I shit myself. Now I'm like, okay, fine, Mondelez has sent me a cease and desist, like whatever, I don't care. I know I'm not breaking the law, it's fine. So I think you build a tough skin, and like, I never read the comments, because if you do read them and take them personally, shit, that can hurt. But I think it's a muscle. It's muscle memory. Like, you just got to do it more. The more you do it, the less you kind of get desensitized to it, basically.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. There's also a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I read that in my mid-20s and it kind of changed my life. I also go into real existential crisis holes on TikTok where they zoom out on the world and go, this is how small you are in the world. And then they'll also be like, in 200 years' time, not even your great-great-great-great-granddaughter will remember your name. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. Like, I don't need to worry that much. So yeah, take the pressure off a little bit.
I think also we're so fickle, aren't we? And it's like no one's like that loyal to any like one customer, any one supermarket, like any one brand, really. Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
And I think once you're over that, it does make it
Everybody's
like so
thinking
much
of themselves all the time. No one's thinking about you that much as we all love to believe it. Like
You're not that fit.
Well, no.
yeah.
Not you. One is, sorry. Like, as in, like, you know,
straight on TikTok after this, like.
Yeah. But I mean, it's true. Like, we've even had moments where, like, the Sun newspaper's written a bad article about me, and that I was like, I'm not a celebrity. I'm not from this world. Like, so that was a moment about 3 months ago that was like, oh shit, like, what's going on here? Like, didn't know anything about it, and that kind of got you in a different way. But again, it's like, has it changed anything? I still get messages from 50 people a day going, oh my God, you've changed my diet. I love this recommendation. It's so good. So I think you just got to stay true to your values and who you are. And if you stay true to your values, it doesn't matter what anyone else says.
Absolutely. Again, huge thank you, guys. Yeah, it's super informative. Learned loads.
Awesome.
Lots.